Acme Auto supervisors would like to have a way to quickly scan their vehicle inventory in order to decide which vehicles they may want to retire due to high mileage. I will create a read-only grid that displays vehicle records and allows the supervisors to filter by mileage. For each chart or grid in your report, start by creating a new interface. This way you can reuse the same grid or chart in several reports. I will call my interface Acme Automobile Vehicles Grid, and I will add a simple description to it. Now that I have an interface, I will drag and drop a read-only grid component to the canvas. The rest of the configurations will be done in the Component Configuration pane. My first step is setting up the grid's data source. Notice I have several options to choose from for the data source, including a record type, query, variable, rule, or expression. I will use a record type since it allows me to leverage the record list view in the grid along with other configurations in the record type. With record type selected, I'll start searching for the vehicle record type. Once I select my record type, the grid will auto-populate with data. By the way, you may notice that this grid looks exactly like the vehicle record list. That is great, but we don't need all of this information. Let's delete the columns that our supervisors don't need. I will scroll 2 columns, and I will delete a few, keeping the columns for VIN, make, model, year. I will also keep the column for mileage since this is the information our supervisors need. I can also add a column. I will drill into this column to change its display value so it shows the last maintenance issue. I will also update the column's label. Notice when you add a column and select display value, you have access to all of the fields in your record type's data model, including your related record fields. For example, you can choose the related record maintenance and choose the category field issue. This will show a list of all of a vehicle's issues. You will learn how to filter this list soon so it only displays the last maintenance issue. Now that this grid looks more or less as we intended it to look, let's apply filters to it. You may notice that my component configuration pane contains the setups for different types of filters. So what is the difference? The first type is the record filter. This filter won't be visible to your users, and it will help you to hide data that you don't want your business users to see. For example, if you want to hide all vehicles built before 2004, you can use a record filter. To create this filter, select Filter Records. In the dialog box, click Add Filter. For the field, select Year. For condition, select the greater than symbol and enter the value 2004. The filter will only return records that meet the filter condition, so your grid will now show vehicles where the year field is greater than 2004. Below filter records, you can filter your related records. Start by selecting Filter Related Records, then open the expression editor. Now you can use the ABANG Related Record Data function to filter the maintenance-related record you added to the grid. For the relationship parameter, start typing the word vehicle to bring up the vehicle record type. Next, add dot to show the record type options and hover over relationships. Then you can choose maintenance. Use the limit parameter 1 so only one maintenance issue is displayed. To ensure the last maintenance issue is returned, you should use ABANG Sort Info. There you will sort by the maintenance request date field. Last, set the ascending parameter to false. The third type of filters are user filters. Unlike record filters, user filters are visible to business users. They will be able to use this filter to modify what they see in their grid. Great news is that I've already set up user filters in the vehicle record type. Here, I can simply reuse these filters. If I want additional filters, I would build them in the record type, and then I can access them here. In User Filters, I'll click Add User Filter, and I'll select mileage from my list of available filters. As you can see, my grid now displays the mileage filter. Notice you can also add record actions to the grid. This grid includes the Add Vehicle action to the top of the grid. I'm almost done with this grid, but there are a few additional improvements that I would like to implement. Currently, my grid is not sorted. As you can see, I have two sorting options, initial sorts and secondary sorts. What's the difference? In short, initial sorts apply upon the grid's initial load. Secondary sorts apply after business users interact with the grid in some fashion. Because my supervisors will be looking at the mileage of vehicles, it makes sense for us to have the grid sorted by mileage upon the first load. The initial sort will help with this. I'll click Add Sort, and then I will select Vehicle Mileage in the drop-down menu. I will also select to sort my grid in the ascending order. I'll click the refresh button to see whether my sort works. Great! Now my rows are sorted by mileage. While on the subject, remember that you can have several initial sorts. Now let's talk about the secondary sort for this grid. This type of sort will kick in after business users interact with the grid. This interaction can be as simple as business users sorting the grid by one of the columns, which can be done by simply clicking one of the column headers. Let's say I want the grid to be sorted by mileage after business users sort it by one of the columns. This is when a secondary sort will come in handy. I'll click Add Sort for the secondary sorts. Once again, I will select Vehicle Mileage and Ascending. Now I'll test the grid. Upon the initial load, my grid is sorted by mileage. Now, after I sort the grid by the make column, vehicles within each make will still be sorted by mileage. Next, I also want my grid to display fewer rows of data. I can do this by typing 5 into the rows to display per page field. My grid is now fully set up. I will set it to the side until I am ready to combine my grid and charts into a single reporting interface.